There you go.
Good afternoon and welcome to the MUZEO's online Lunch and Learn. I'm Carol Latham, the Community Outreach Coordinator for the MUZEO Museum and Cultural Center in Anaheim. It is our wish that you, your family and circle of concern are all safe and healthy, not only now, but that you stay that way. We had a little technical difficulty at the beginning, so we apologize for starting a little bit late. The MUZEO is a cultural and community hub with the mission to engage the community in exploring and celebrating our diverse heritage, culture, and the arts. And we do this through creative educational programming, exhibits, and events like this one today. And we appreciate you taking your time to join us this afternoon. Be sure to add any questions you may have in the chat, and we'll do our very best to answer them before the presentation ends. Crittenton Services for 5 decades has held the mission to deliver trauma-informed mental health treatment and to help rebuild resiliency in the most vulnerable system-involved children, youth, and families. They serve 4 counties through their community-based programs, school-based programs, foster care, transitional housing, and in their group homes. Over the staff of experts able to touch the lives of over 2,000 children each year. They believe that it's important to break the hold of trauma, to heal it, and if you will, give children and young people a sense of ownership of themselves and help them regain a sense of power. Today's presenter is Bev Berriman, who is the Community Engagement Director, and she brings a unique blend of human resources, business administration, finance, and community relation experience to her role at Crittenton Services for children and families. She also has a long-time connection with the agency as she primarily served as the co-founder of Crittenton Cookie Mom Auxiliary prior to her present-day responsibilities. Today, she manages the year-round coordination of Crittenton volunteers and community partnerships activities. With more than 200 volunteers and countless business partnerships, Ms. Berriman has reorganized the agency's community engagement programming into a popular volunteer and donor hub in Orange County. In her spare time, she enjoys serving the educational community and much, much more. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you today to share news of Crittenton, Bev Berriman. Thank you, Bev, for joining us.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. I think my work here is now done, right?
Not quite. In about an hour.
Thank you so much, Carol, and to the MUZEO for allowing me to speak to you today to share the mission of Crittenton Services. As you said, our mission has always been to strengthen families, heal the wounds of abuse, and help troubled adolescents and teens reach their fullest potential. As you said, I've had the honor of being part of this organization for over 20 years, but it wasn't always as an employee. I've been working for the agency for a little over 5 years now, and I truly have one of the best jobs in the world because I get to do something every day that I feel passionate about. And I always tell people that if you're ever going to have to work, do something that you feel very passionate about, because then work is not work. It's something that you enjoy doing. So thank you for allowing me to come and share just some information about Crittenton and about what we do. So I'm going to, again, this is all the age of technology. I'm going to see if my presentation will work. I'm sharing my screen. Oh, Look at that. So, okay. So we'll just start out again by the mission of Crittenton. It's, again, to help heal the wounds of abuse and neglect, strengthen families, and to help troubled adolescents. We have been doing this for over 100 years, and I think people don't realize how long Crittenton has been around. Lots of people have heard about us, but really don't know what we've morphed into. So over 100 years ago, Charles Crittenton started Crittenton Services, along with Kate Waller-Barrett as his educational partner. They started out serving the girls of the streets of New York City and wanted to have a place for them to call home and to bring their children with them. So that was over 100 years ago. In the 1890s, they started opening up Florence or Crittenton homes for girls across the nation. And in 1966, we began Crittenton in Orange County. So we've been around for that long. We started out as a 6-bed facility to help teen moms. And we have gone from that to serving 2,000 clients a year in mental health and other programs. As the landscape has changed, we have had to change. And what we have done over the years, we've evolved from a house of pregnant teens to a nonprofit agency with expanded services. And today we continue to adopt mental health and social services for California's most needy system-involved children and families. We have many programs because, as I said, we have morphed over the years and we've had to change based on what is needed in our society. So right now, and what we'll touch on today is talking about our family-based services, foster care programs. We have community-based services. We've got stepping stones. We've got family preservation, some wraparound services. And then we have some residential services. And we'll talk a little bit about those programs. And understand that in each one of what we do, everything we do is trauma informed, because we are definitely a health service organization as well as a family service organization. So first thing we'll touch on a little bit about today, and I won't read all these words for you, but I just wanted you to see and have some numbers up here, is we have a foster care program. So we have our own foster care department where we serve over 200 kids a year. And we take care of all of their needs. We provide them with the resource parents that they need to help them become full, self-sufficient adults into independent living. So we're always looking for resource families. So at the end of this presentation, we'll have ways that you can contact us. So we're always looking for that. So we do have our own foster care department. In addition to that, what we have is our Stepping Stones program. So as you know, with foster youth that have been in the system, if once they turn 18, if that resource or foster family is not there for them anymore, then a lot of these youth will become homeless and have nowhere to go. So what we have done is we have set up and started a Stepping Stones program, which is our transitional youth program. We serve not only 21 to 24-year-olds, but we're serving 18 to 21-year-olds as well. And looking at the statistics about youth that age out of foster care, it's traumatic because half of them become homeless. Those other half, it's a third were unemployed, and a quarter of those would become incarcerated unless we can do something about them to help them and to provide a safe place where we can mentor and help them through that transition. What 18-year-old is ready to go out on their own? And so you look at that and you look at the kids that are coming from the system that have the traumatic, that have been through so much trauma in their lives, and understand that they as well as other 18-year-olds out there aren't ready to be by themselves. And here they are having to be by themselves. So we do have a Stepping Stones program where we care for 18 to 24-year-olds in 2 different types of programs. I'm happy to say that we have started our first transitional housing program here in Orange County. And so again, we would welcome people to come on board as we start to create a mentorship program for these transitional youth. And so that's one thing that people can do to be involved and help us with these kids. So that's our Stepping Stones program. We have school and community linked programs, meaning we go into schools. So as our schools, and ever so most important now than ever before, a lot of our students out there, a lot of our children out there and our families are starting to become more and more needy or have more and more issues with socio-emotional barriers, with the quarantining and the ability not to go into schools, and the pressures that our families are facing right now. Our kids are in the midst of that. And so more than ever before has it become very important for the schools to look at the mental health issues of their students. Crittenton partners with school districts. Right now, 3 school districts, plus we don't have on this slide, oh, sorry guys. We don't have on this slide our college, our community colleges. So we partner with both community colleges and K-12 schools to go in and help students and provide mental health services after school. So it would not be in the school day, but after school. So we're one of those mental health agencies that goes along with our schools to try and help these children through the issues that they might have. In addition to that, we talk about our outpatient mental health services. When we first started, you know, as a teen mom program, which we still have and I'll talk about, but from then till now, we have become a full service mental health facility as well. Everything we do is trauma informed. And if you don't know about trauma and the brain when it's subjected to trauma, it's a really interesting thing to read up on if it's something that interests you. But we find that most of our kids that come to us have been exposed to childhood trauma. And when that happens, reasoning skills and things that you find are very easy for some are not for our clients. And so everything we do is trauma informed. We try to find out what the root of problems are and try to help give our kids the tools to be able to move past those and to work through their traumas. So everything we do is trauma based. We have outpatient services, and this is something that people don't know what we do. So in 4 counties, we go into a home whenever there's a sign of abuse or neglect in a home and they need help, that family needs help. We're one of those agencies that can go in and provide that help to a family, whether it's because their children have mental health issues, and the parents are having a hard time coping with it, or if it's our parents are sometimes in traumatic situations, or they also need help. And so we'll bring in our team of experts, our parent partners, our caseworkers, our social workers, to help that family gain the resources and the mental health services that they need to be able to provide their children and their family with a home life that is successful. We serve 4 counties there. So as you could see, we're in Los Angeles, San Bernardino, Riverside, here in Orange County. Again, we've served 377 youth just in that program alone last year. So as we're going through the slides, it will have numbers and it just kind of show you how many kids are part of that program. So priority, we talk about giving our kids the resiliency, being able to provide them with a place that they can call home. So in addition to our school-based, our foster, our transitional housing, as well as our wraparound and family preservation services, we have our short-term residential programs. So this is where we have clients that live with us 24 hours a day. And if you've been around Crittenton for a while, this I call is our flagship service. It's kind of how we started. And Carol, you're probably familiar with this program more than any other program, because this is our residential treatment center where we serve our teen clients. We have several programs within our residential treatment program or centers, and that's what we'll talk about. But again, we're bringing in clients ages 12 to 19 who stay with us for about 6 months is probably an average time where they stay with us. And what we're doing is giving them the skills and the abilities to be able to move on and become independent, whether we place them back into their home environments, whether we provide them with the independent living, whether we set them up into foster or transitional housing. This is the center where they stay with us 24 hours a day. As you can see, 88% of our clients that we serve in this center alone have chemical dependency issues. A lot of our kids will self-medicate because of the environments in which they're coming from. And, we hear about those kids, but again, what kids really want to grow up to be that way? A lot of our kids are coming with lots of trauma and lots of baggage, and we're trying to help them get through that. 35% of our clients last year alone were victims of trafficking. And again, remember, we serve kids. We don't serve adults. We serve children in this program. 35% of those children have been victims of child trafficking. And that's one thing that, as we move into this, is very coming more into the forefront of people understanding that we here in California, we here in Orange County have issues with this. I always tell people we wouldn't have an Orange County human trafficking task force if we didn't have issues. So this is one way also to get involved. 60% of those youth have had a history of running away, right? So we've got foster kids. So we've had kids that have been in foster care and have come with us. We had a client that was 15 years old, and we were her 14th placement of care. So those are the kids that we're serving in this environment. And again, we bring in volunteers, we bring in people to help these youth through this program. And so at the end, again, I'll be talking about ways that you can help. Last year alone, we served 175 teens ages 12 to 19. Part of this, as we talked about, is the child, the victims of commercially sexually exploited children, CSEC kids. We have our own Insight program that targets those youth, and we diagnose and provide them with the specific programs that will help guide them through this period of their life. Because as you know, kids will come with us with many mental disorders, many things that they need to work on, and victims of child trafficking is no stranger to what we have to deal with each day. So again, we have an Insight program specifically for our trafficked youth. In addition to that, as our kids come with us, what's that one thing that they have to do as teenagers? Just because you're with us doesn't mean you can stop school. A lot of our kids come to us with interrupted educational backgrounds, meaning that they're usually not up to grade level. Again, what we're trying to do is provide them with a very stable environment along with the school that goes along with it. So we have our own academy called the Kate Waller Barrett Academy, again named after one of our founding mothers in this case, to really provide that educational experience and an individual education experience to our clients, to help them gain the units, to gain the knowledge so that they can move on. We have, in fact, this year alone, because this is graduation season, even though they're not graduating, how they normally would be, I believe we had five of our clients this year or this month are eligible to graduate from high school because of the ability to recoup their units and really have some stable education going on during the daytime. We partner with our local high school in having them provide us with certificated staff to help our kids through this process. We're partnering with institutions like Schools on Wheels to help us with tutoring, along with lots of our volunteers who are willing to do that as well. And again, this group of kids is not the easiest sometimes to deal with, because a lot of them are resistant to feeling like they can't do work, and so they have different ways of coping. So it's just trying to find the right fit and find the right way to educate our kids. But we take it seriously, and we're so proud of our graduates this year. And every year we have more and more, but we're very proud to have at least 5 right now that are eligible. And I think that number will go up with each one of our programs. So that's our academy. When we started our 6-bed home way back when, over 60 years ago here in Orange County, we started out with a teen mom and baby program. That's kind of what we were known for. And what our job is if our clients that come into our residential program, if they have children and they have the ability to bring them with them, we bring them. And so our teens will come with their babies and live with us on our campus. At that point, what we do is we go in there and intensively give them and provide them with the opportunity to learn how to be a good parent. A lot of our teens that come to us have not had that role model in their lives. So it's hard for them to be a mom without having someone that they could have looked at to be that role model for them. So our staff in our PACE department actively work with our kids each day to provide them with that training to be able to become a good mom. We bring in volunteers into our nursery, and a lot of times we bring in mother-daughter teams to help us with the babies while our client moms are in their program or going to school. What we try to do is provide that role modeling. We love it when our moms and teens come in to volunteer, because that shows our clients what a healthy relationship between a mom and their child could look like. And so there are opportunities for that as well. We are, one of our biggest things is to break the cycles of generational child abuse. And we really want our kids to know how to be good moms. And so we do that. Right now, I would say we have about, 18 moms in our care, most of which have their babies with them. If we bring in a client in our residential homes and they have a child, sometimes they don't bring them with them. Sometimes they're with an extended family member, but as soon as they can, they will bring their babies with them. We do bring in moms that are expecting. And so I'm proud to say that we have another volunteer group that provides baby showers for these moms, because we want them to feel special. We want them to know that their babies are loved and that they're loved as well. So again, we have a very robust teen mom and baby program that has been around for a very, very long time. So again, if you have any questions or want to help in any of those programs, we have a phone number here and we have an email address here that you can help with. When we talk about how you can help, because Carol had asked what ways people can help, I say, number one, we're always looking for resource families. We're always looking for people to foster kids. Mentor. Consider being a mentor, especially for our transitional housing program. We serve all 4 of those counties. We have programs, transitional housing programs in all 4 of those counties that I mentioned before. Plus, we're starting locally here in Orange County. For those of you that are listening that might be local, there are ways to help with that as well. And we're just getting off the ground with that one, so it should be fun. Volunteer is another way. We all of our volunteer opportunities are right in Fullerton. So if you're local again to Anaheim, and if you can get there, you can get to one of our facilities in Fullerton, and that's where our actual one-on-one or our volunteering, physical volunteering is. So if you can't be a mentor, if you can't be a foster family, you can't volunteer, you can always donate. So if you look on our website, we have a very inclusive website that talks about the things that we could use. We do wish list Wednesdays. Right now, during this quarantine or stay at home order, We're always looking for things like craft supplies, DVDs, as long as they're, PG or G or PG-13. We're looking for, people to sponsor an ice cream party, to bring in baked goods, anything to keep our kids active during this time, because they aren't leaving campus, they're staying close to home. For our families, the other things that we are looking for them are cleaning supplies. I think that we take it for granted that you could just go out and buy, laundry detergent, but if you've looked at the prices of laundry detergent lately, it's very expensive. So one of the biggest things that our families ask for are cleaning supplies. So in addition to cleaning supplies, toiletries. So those are other things that our families can use right now. So those are just some things that we can use. Those are the programs that we have. Carol had also asked if I could just share a couple of maybe some stories. I've got one great volunteer story. I think I'm still okay on time, right, Carol? Okay.
Yes, you are.
Okay, my greatest volunteer story, one of my greatest, because we have Crittenton has so many wonderful volunteers. I praise my volunteers who have been around for years and years. We have about 200 routine volunteers that come in. Some have been working with us for a long time, and they come in and they just work with our kids. I call our volunteers our hope angels. They're the ones who provide our kids with hope. They give our kids that opportunity to work with somebody that's not paid to be there. Our kids understand that staff is there 24 hours. We're a 24-hour facility. Our staff are not there 24 hours. We have 3 shifts, and we're always, hiring. So if you're looking for caseworkers or residential counselors, take a look at our online human resource link. But we have staff that are there at all times, and our kids know who staff are. So they began to treat our staff like their parents. And some of us that have had teenagers understand how that is. But our volunteers come in, and our kids they can't really understand that people are not being paid to be there. So for our volunteers to come in month after month, year after year, and provide our kids with that hope is invaluable. And for our volunteers, I can't praise them enough. They've done such great things. We had one group that, again, when you introduced me, we talked about our cookie moms. We started our auxiliary for volunteering a little over 20 years ago. And I still have one group that's been there the whole time. And so it's called a cookie mom group. One of our clients, our volunteers came in, and one of our clients came up to one of our cookie moms and said, "Oh my gosh, you're a cookie mom." And our volunteer said, "Yeah, I'm a cookie mom." Our client says, "Don't you remember me?" And our cookie mom looked at her and she says, "I've been doing this for a really long time. You look familiar. I'm not sure." And our client said, "Wait a minute." Our client ran into her bedroom, and she came back out with this ornament that the cookie moms had made with them 2 years prior. And she said, "I was here 2 years ago and you made these with us." And understanding that our clients go from placement to placement to placement, and they can't take everything they have. They can only take a small sampling of what their belongings are. And for that one client to bring that one thing with her from placement to placement meant a whole lot. And it did show that our volunteer group really does mean something, even though sometimes our kids don't say thank you right away. They really do appreciate it. The other thing I did want to share was we've got some stories of some past clients. So I've got a few quotes that I'm going to read. We have one of our past clients that was one of our teen moms years ago. She came, and with this new world, right, of Facebook and social media, people look us up and they find us. And so she came back and she said that she was a former client who can honestly say that Crittenton changed her life. She said, "I was on the verge of becoming a dropout, and staff gave me the hope and pushed me to graduate high school. They gave me my first job and showed me how to maintain a work ethic. Those skills have served me well in the real world, and I can never say thank you enough for the love and confidence I was given here. They loved me when I could not love myself." Right? And so this Cody came back, and she volunteered for me probably a couple of 2.5 years ago, because she wanted to give back. One of our families in our wraparound service said that Crittenton is family to me. This is a family that makes sure that my kids and I get what is needed. It is the best way I can describe it. Crittenton goes above and beyond. They have truly wrapped around my entire family and catered to our needs. And they mean it when they say, call us. If you need support, we will be there. My team and I work together. And the last quote I have is from someone that's near and dear to my heart, Lucero. And Lucero was a client of ours. And she said, Crittenton Services planted the seeds for me to grow and thrive into the person that I am today. Crittenton acknowledges the potential in all of their clients, and I'm grateful to have received their support. I have firsthand experience of the positive and lasting impact Crittenton can have on their clients' lives, and I'm proud to be part of the Crittenton legacy. I'm going to tell you that Lucero has gone on to get her master's, and I believe the last time I knew it is on her way to her doctorate. So again, these are successful clients that we have had, that we've served, that throughout the years of Crittenton, throughout our 50 years in Fullerton and our 60 years in Orange County, of being able to serve youth and provide them with the tools that they need in order to become strong individuals. So with that, I believe that's enough for me. I could probably share for hours and hours, and I promise I won't. I'll be more than happy to take questions and be able to provide any other information.
This has been so informative. I do have a couple of questions. One of them, you mentioned about the referral program. So can you talk a little bit more about that? How do your clients get to you in the first place? Is there a vetting process? Is there a financial responsibility? You know, how does that work?
Okay, depending on the program. So if you are asking about our residential care facility, our group homes, normally our clients come to us through Child Protective Services or through probation. So if one of our clients goes through the court system, could have been in juvenile hall, and now has a program that they have to follow, we're part of that program. So they're referred by those two places. If it's a wraparound service, again, Child Protective Services, the agencies out there will sign up. If it's school-based, the districts will reach out to us. We have a contract with that district and that school, and then we provide our counseling for schools. So it all depends on the program that it is.
Okay. And do they need to be financially needy in order to be a part of the program? And yes, they have the social need and the personal need, but do they also need to be financially needy in order to participate?
Right. So for our residential treatment center, I don't believe it's based on financial need at all. It's based on the program that they're coming in from. So normally, in the most circumstances, the people that we serve, the children, the families that we serve, there is some type of financial need, that most of our families are in the poverty, are living in poverty.
So once they are out of the program and they're aged 19, 24, et cetera, what is the process for following up to make sure that they don't become a statistic? Right. After they've gone through your program? So I think Sally has a question, and we'll come to her after.
Okay.
Yes.
We do have a family reunification department that follows our clients for a particular amount of time to make sure that, okay, so you've left you've left our residential treatment center. Now you're going back into your family, or you're going somewhere. Our family reunification department will follow to make sure that everything is being followed. Again, it's sometimes with Lucero, when she left our care, she went right back into the family that she left, that provided, that was part of her trauma to start with. Mm-hmm. But we were able to give her the tools so that she was stronger and she was able to handle it. She stepped back into some of the habits that she had before she came, but she was stronger and she knew how to go forward. We do have many more videos on our website. So if you want to go in and see some of the other programs and actually see how our kids have progressed, we do have some there too.
And I think Sally has a question. Unmute yourself, Sally, please.
Hi, Sally.
You're still not unmuted. Let's hang on.
I'm muted by the
There you are.
Okay.
There you are.
Okay. I have a question. Is this the Florence Crittenton homes that you have? Is that part of, yes. I have a nephew that was born there 60 some years ago.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's a great, yeah, I'm tied to you guys. So anyway, for your newborn sections, when you have the babies and things, do you have needs for like baby blankets and things of that sort? And the reason I ask is my daughter makes these wonderful baby blankets, and she made 90 of them last year, and she gives away. She gives them out to the schools, to the teachers at the schools, and then they give them to their children that they think are needy. And particularly like when they had the fires up in Paradise, a lot of those kids lost everything. And so anyway, I have a supply of those blankets that I'd like to share.
Yeah, the answer is yes, we absolutely can. We, because we bring in, we have not a revolving door, but we are constantly placing clients out and bringing in new clients. And so, again, we do bring in and we do take donations of baby items. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The last Lunch and Learn we had was with Big Brothers Big Sisters of Orange County, and they were also employing people to look into the possibility of being a big. Mm-hmm. And next one we have will be with Hoya Scholars out of Placentia, Fullerton area, and they are working with students after school, helping with homework, getting them prepped for college, etc. So those are two organizations that could be wonderful collaborative organizations for Crittenden. Do you do a lot of that as well?
So for us, I sit on the Fullerton Collaborative, and Hoya Scholars is part of that. So they do great work. Both those organizations do great work. For us, our clients in our residential treatment center aren't with us long enough to set them up into a big brother or big sister. However, with our transitional housing going a little bit older, we're starting to work with them. With Hoya Scholars, they're dealing with more of the elementary school age kids. Mm-hmm. And so we partner when we need to, but we serve a different group of kids. A lot of times when you hear about Orangewood and Olive Crest and the other facilities that are out there that do kind of the same types of work as us, the kids that we treat and the youth that we bring in are usually bringing more mental health issues with them. And so for us, it's providing that mental health service along with everything else that we do. Whereas some of the others might not be they might not have as many mental health issues as we have. So we have partnered in the past with a few of those. So yeah.
So during this quarantine time, how are you staying engaged with your clients? Not so much the residential ones, but the other.
Our family-based. Mm-hmm. So we use telehealth. So our therapists and our caseworkers still will see their clients via something like this, because we are not able to go into the homes. There are a few homes or there are a few families in which I think we have been able to visit depending on the circumstances, but we're doing a lot of this just like everybody else is, just like counselors and doctors are doing with telehealth. And so we're providing the services that way. So we haven't cut that off at all. We still are serving our kids. Yeah. Same thing on our residential homes. our staff are still there. Our volunteers are trying to do things virtually. They also are bringing our kids goodie bags and games and crafts and cookies, and just making sure that people know that they still love them and they're still out there and they haven't left them, because our kids have abandonment issues as it is. Not to be able to see people that have been in their lives for so many years is kind of tough for them.
Yeah. What are some of the guidelines for being a volunteer?
Well, you start out by coming to one of our orientations. So you would email or go on our website, find out when the next orientation is. You come to that, you learn, kind of what I talked about today a little bit more. And then we find out if that's something that interests you. And depending on where you want to volunteer is the next step. Some of our volunteer opportunities require just a quick background check, a live screen process. Some don't. People start out by volunteering either with our babies in our nursery, or you can start out by joining an existing volunteer group and going in and just hanging out with our kids once a month, doing crafts, bringing inspirational messages, doing vision boards, cooking, things like that. We have existing volunteer groups that are always looking for new volunteers to be part of that. So it just starts with an orientation to find out if there's a match. And then we go from there depending on what you would like to do and what your schedule is.
Yeah. What's the age range to be a volunteer? When does it start?
So if you want to work in our nursery, we bring in high school students after school, so 14 and up, to work in our nursery. When things go, I'm hoping one day things will go back to normal and we will have a nursery with kids without their moms around. But right there is 14 and up. And then to work on our residential treatment center, 18 and up. So, and then, we're looking for tutors. We're looking for people to come and work in our schools, different kinds of things. We're starting a mentor program, again, 18 to 21. So 18 to work with our teens, but 14 to work with our toddlers and our infants.
How about any of your clients that may have disabilities? Is that a drawback, or is that also a plus?
No, I think that lots of our clients have some type of disability, whether you could see it or not. And so for us, it's just, we bring in kids no matter where they are, no matter what, where their beliefs are, where they are in their, identities. We provide them with the tools to be able to have them become stronger individuals and get them through this part of their lives. It's hard enough being a teen as it is. Being a teen with some mental health issues and coming from trauma backgrounds, in the system, involved in the system, it's even harder.
Yeah. And if they have physical limitations, that makes it even.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. How about funding for Crittenton? How are you funded?
So we're a nonprofit agency, but we are a little different because for whatever program it is how it's funded, right? So if we have a contract with LA for mental health services, we get paid through county, state, and local pots of money from LA. If we've got a contract with the state of California, we get paid through state. If we're working we've got a refugee minor program. If we are working with that, we get paid by the federal government. Depends on the program that it is how we're funded. So we at Crittenton have enough, for the basic necessities of what we do. It's all of those plus things. It's all of the things like Christmas. So at the holidays, we do a huge angel tree program where the only way we can bring Christmas presents to our families and the kids that we serve is by donors, by people taking an angel tree gift or saying, Crittenton, we want to help you. And so we have hundreds and hundreds of donors at Christmas that really will come up and step up to the plate, because that funding, the basic funding, doesn't do things like that. Our transitional housing program, we have enough to bare minimum furnish an apartment, but we don't have enough for the cheese grater or the coffee pot or something like that. So we take in donations, we take, we do some fundraisers, whatever it takes in order to offset those kinds of things. So we're a nonprofit. but we still get state, federal, and county funding, county mental health, as well as bringing in donations from the community. And again, if you're on our website, we have a donate now button. You can always donate that way, whether it's time, resources, whatever you can do is greatly appreciated.
Do you have like an annual fundraising event?
We do. So every March, we have had what we call our mystery night. And so we're fortunate because one of our retired staff members is part of an acting troupe, and they will come in and they will stage a mystery while our guests are at Angelo and Vinci's, who graciously donates, Cynthia Peck graciously donates her facility and her food that night, and they sponsor it. We bring in our acting troupe and they do a mystery, and our guests can bid on silent auction items, and then the mystery happens. They go back to their tables and they try and solve the mystery. And so we do that usually in March of every year. We do a few fundraisers through local restaurants. Fratellino's right here in Fullerton has been a big supporter of us, and we'll do a couple of nights 4 nights every year where they provide us with money back. So it's that indirect fundraising that we do as well. We used to do a golf tournament, but that, people just don't golf anymore. And again, it's getting harder and harder to raise funds for agencies like ours, because a lot of people don't have that connection with us. So it's easier to give to, maybe a YMCA or a Boys and Girls Club or something like that, where they can see that immediate, that immediate gain. With us, you're donating and you may never see the fact that ornament helped that one client through that. So it's those kinds of things that you cannot see that people sometimes have a harder time giving to.
Yeah.
So
I think that's the same thing that we find in the Anaheim community as well. And I know that in Fullerton, you mentioned, we talked about Hoya, we talked about, and there are other ones like Pathways of Hope and Boys
Women's
Hope, Girls
Transitional.
Hope, Women's Transitional. I mean, there's so many organizations doing amazing work, and there's just enough money, just enough people to do some of the work and to have all the resources available. It's daunting at times, but when you hear such wonderful success stories like you just shared, it makes it all so worthwhile.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I don't know if there's anything else that you might want to share. We have a few more minutes that we can use up. So
just trying to think of something that I didn't say that I could say.
If I may.
Yes.
When you were going through the child educational problems and things, you were pretty much describing one of my great granddaughters, a 16-year-old that has had trauma in her life since she was a baby. And they diagnosed her as bipolar 2. And at this point in time, she's living with her grandparents in Northern California. And we are really struggling with her doing her homework. She sees no point to school, no point. So what you were talking about, I made notes. I wish my daughter, who's taken care of, I wish she had been in on this conversation to have heard what you had to share there. But you're right on.
Thank you.
Well, the advantage is this is recorded, so she'll be able to hop on and see it from the MUZEO website. But there's such a need for organizations that answer to, especially to youngsters in our community, because I think that the older they get, if they haven't had that solid feeling of being appreciated and nurtured and loved and that they are okay, then it just translates into the rest of their lives being imbalanced.
Right.
And
And what
or
we have,
unbalanced.
well, what we've, I think what we see is that when you have trauma in your life and you have to survive. So kids have coping mechanisms. And so, they're not going to be vulnerable. They're not going to let people in. They're going to be resistant. The only thing that gets through that is a healthy adult relationship. And it has to build, and it has to be trusting, and you can't build trust one time. It's over and over. And that's why, what I do at Crittenton means so much, because I see the benefits of what our volunteers have to offer our kids and the hope that they bring to them. Because having a trusting adult who doesn't have to be there, come back month after month after month to say, you know what, you're worthy. We love you. We're going to offer you. You might not be having a great day today, but I'm going to come back next week or next month, and come back. And our kids look at that, and they may not say it right away. But if you don't come, if those volunteers don't come, our kids notice, and then again, that starts over again. So it's building a trusting relationship with adults that's going to help our kids get through this period of their life. And just because they're at our center doesn't mean they're not all over the place. There are so many ways that you can learn about trauma and learn about what's going on. Our California Surgeon General is a big proponent of childhood trauma. And so she's got TED Talks. So there's ways that you can learn about it and understand how that brain works. And for us, I think the most important thing, I love people to donate money because we can put that to use, but getting a group, the way that we started our volunteer program at Crittenton was a group of friends got together to say, how can we help these kids? And so we, as a group, said, okay, we're going to go in once a month for an hour. That's all it takes, is once a month for an hour. We're going to go in, we're going to volunteer in the same house, because our kids all live in houses, cottages. Can you imagine 12 teenage girls living in one cottage? It gets a little electric, right? Electric is what I call it. But bringing in a group of people who like each other, that want to do something together, and they bring in and they just say, you know what, we're going to come in tonight, we're going to play Uno, and we're going to make brownies. They volunteer for an hour and a half, and they're gone, and they come back the next month and they do something different. It's as easy as that. In the years, like I said, I volunteered for 18 years at Crittenton before I started working there. It wasn't always easy to come in because, so many things go on in your lives. But if we didn't make it in one month, you have a group of people, not everyone makes it every month. But that, one of the biggest things I'm always looking for are groups of people that want to give an hour a month to just come in and hang out and be a role model to these kids. Don't expect to fix them. Don't expect to, have them, show their love. But every bit helps. Every volunteer helps in getting our kids on the right track and showing them that, people in this world do care about them, and that they mean something.
Yeah.
And that's what's important.
And I think it's also the listening. I remember years ago, another group that I am involved with, we got a list of gifts for Christmas for children. And the liaison was very careful to stress to us that, yes, you may want to give them all this extra stuff, but if they're specific, answer that question first. And I remember there was one young girl that wanted white bobby socks, or, the tube socks, white ones, and white underwear. And we had this discussion about, well, white's so boring, and maybe we should get fancy socks and all of that. And it ended up that we did both the fancy, but we also ended up getting her specifically what she wanted, because the liaison was so good at guiding us into really listening, because she was saying that with many of these young children, no one listens to them. no one pays attention. No one really hears what their needs are. And so just as something as simple as white socks and white underwear, that's what they were specific about. Give it to them, you know?
Absolutely. And it could have been our program, because each year our kids, you know, they write up a list. It's just like that, you know. So our angel cards, you know, as we're writing them out from their list is, you know, I found this on this page of, you know, used to be a brochure or a catalog, but, you know, our kids have specific needs, because again, they're never going to get that one particular item that they're asking for. So so it is very important. So yeah, thank you for doing that. And thank you, Carol.
Thank you. Well, before we close, I want to remind you that the website link for Crittenton is www.crittendonsocal.org. And on the MUZEO, we'll be carrying that as well. We want your thoughts on this program as we continue to bring relevant programs to the community, especially during these very uncertain times. To support the MUZEO, you can also click on the support donate button, and we're grateful for your generosity whenever it comes. Special thank you to Burkindo Cantlow for her work behind the scenes, and without a doubt to Bev Berriman for enlightening us this afternoon with the services provided by Crittenton. I'm sure the audience appreciates what you've shared about the past, the future, and the present, and the ways in which that are available to help children, youth, and families through their journey. Special thank you as well to the viewing audience for tuning in this afternoon. From the MUZEO, stay well, stay safe, stay healthy. Until next time. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.